Greetings, family and friends. This is Dr. Chef. I'm so glad to be able to tune in to you all on this Wellness Wednesday. Please join now for your free health coaching and your good down to earth spiritual talk with me for the next hour or two, depending on how many questions you all ask. I'm just so happy to be back before you all again on this Wellness Wednesday, where we have a really good down to earth, but yet spiritual good time and going over the things that ail us in our bodies. I am a naturopathic practitioner, health coach, life coach. I've worked in many different forms of missionary work for our community here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I just look forward to being able to tune in with you all for the next couple of hours to be able to give you all a good, healthy service for the next 2 hours. Prayerfully, we can make it to 2 hours. If not, it'll be about the next hour and a half. So I'm going to give you all some of you all time enough to come in, and I am going to put a few things into the chat so that you all can have time to recognize that I did make it in. For some reason, it's only allowing me to make it in for 15 after the 5 p.m. I don't know why that is, but this is the second time that it's allowed me to do this. So I am taking advantage of that time while I wait for you all to recognize that I am here tuned in. All right. And while I wait for some of you all to realize that I've tuned in, I am going to take and put in this information while I can. And as soon as you all tune in, or whoever gets a chance to tune in, thank you all. Whoever it is that just tuned in just now is only showing me only so much at this point. Okay. So yes, I had to get another location. Thank you for whoever's been faithful for tuning in and giving me a like. I appreciate that. And I pray that this Wellness Wednesday be a help and support to you. If not, if that is your way of just supporting by tuning in, then I appreciate that too. And I pray that you've had a blessed and healthy day on purpose. On purpose. I do need to know, because from on my end, the shadow, it seems like the bright light might be a little bit too much. Let me know if the light is too much for you all. That way I'll know to try to change positions if the lightning is not, because I know we have a window here, but I am able, yes, I am able to turn this around now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm able to turn this around where the light won't be shining too much. So bear with me, give me a moment here. Let me see where that help. Is that better, you all? Or is it? Let me know if that's better. Is that better, you all? Ooh, for me here, oh my God, this is not. I wasn't expecting the shadows to look like this. So let me know if someone that's in the chat. Could you please let me know if whether or not that lighting is good enough? No, I did not have no time to check it to see how well it would show up. However, I'm here and I made it, and that's the most important thing. All right. This time I am going to share, but not before I give my announcements and condolences for you all that may not know. Y'all hear me speak highly of them. I had to move a few things over here, you all, for you all. Let me know. So please let me know. Da, 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 da. I have one more other item. All right, y'all. I know I'm supposed to have all that position beforehand, but it's okay. I made it through. That's all that matters. Okay. All right. I'm good, y'all. How y'all been? Come on, talk to me. Let me know how you all been today, this Wellness Wednesday. I know they call it it's good. Thank you so much. Gracefully blessed. Yes, you are. Because you just gracefully blessed me to let me know that, because I don't know on my end how it looks. On my end, it's dark on one side thanks to the window, and then on this side where you all see the window is bright. So yes, I'm in a different location. in my building again because we had to rearrange quite a bit. And so I'm just thankful to be able to be before you all again, to be able to tune in to give you all the help, free health coaching that you all would like to have. I see they're giving me an option to do the Q&A. I'm not going to do that right now. However, I'm just thankful that I was able to come and be with you all and give up this time. I would like to start off by stating that I did not label it um, for ratings at all on purpose, out of the respect to Minister Louis Farrakhan's family. Some of y'all may not have heard, some of you probably have, is tuning in, that he has lost. They have his daughter-in-law has transitioned. Brother Mufasa wife has transitioned, which is the Honorable Louis Farrakhan's son's wife. They had been married for 42 years and known each other since they were 11 years old. Um, she's a beautiful spirit. Everyone that I know of that is known of her, I have close friends, brothers and sisters that knew her very well and practically all of their lives. And it was most definitely a tremendous loss. However, she was blessed to make it to the age that my mom made it. So, yep, I felt it at 62. My mother transitioned at 62, for those who all that did not know, in 2021. And so condolences go out to the whole Farrakhan family, the Nation of Islam, their children. And so you all understand how that works. There are many that want to speculate and wonder what has happened. And you all know what it is that I teach. I'm diving right into it right away. I often put in emphasis how to eat to live now, because I do understand that the years that I had been raised, grown up in the church, Christian girl. I was raised not far away from the mosque, and also had family members that were on my father's side of family that were from the Nation of Islam. And I saw the difference that them practicing how to eat to live made in their life, and longevity came with it. Today, things are a bit more different, as you all know. They're putting more chemicals in the food than what they had. And if you tune in to my Motivational Monday, you'll see where I kind of address some of it then. For those of you all that tune in now and later that may have missed my Motivational Monday that I did kind of answer some of the questions, but still, yet and still, I still state for us as Black Americans, since they like to call us, or some would call us the Asiatic Black people, the original people, that the what I saw to compare to the non-healthy, godly way of eating that I was not raised up in. That was the one area that we lacked in. And it's a great thing to know that I come from what we call spiritual leaders, that even though they didn't practice how to eat to live, to my knowledge, and did not teach it, they did teach prayer and praying over the food. However, there were a few that did teach on the importance of us eating more healthy foods and not taking in artificial salt, and being more healthier for Christ. There were a few, just not enough. Because as you know, this has been a Christianized country that we live in, more so than any other practice religion or way of lifestyle, that we take and use in the name of Jesus or Yeshua or Allah in. I still say that hands down, the practicing the Eat to Live book, for those of you all that don't have it, that doesn't have a taboo issue with it, um, I still highly recommend the How to Eat to Live Part 1 and How to Eat to Live Part 2. Um, it is something that I was privileged to be able to partake in a course that I had taken almost 10 years ago now. And I took the course several times over. I paid for it and I took it over. It was a brother that was teaching it then, and did not share that it was coming from How to Eat to Live. But when I practice it for myself and for my children, I can tell you that it helped my daughter in her condition, her constipation. It helped her with her overall health and wellness, because the issue was constipation for her. She loved bread. She loved a lot of things. And so I can honestly say, for my own and even for myself, at that point, I had put on an extra 15 pounds, and I had a god brother that was into fitness and training, that was once a diabetic and had been pushing close to 300 pounds, and he had lost all of his weight, and he went into fitness and training. And so he was going to help me get certified in fitness and training. This is back in 2013. And instead of that, I wound up going to church, Bishop Coleman to be precise, here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I was invited by my children's godparents that attended it at that time. They have their own church now. They're pastoring their own church now. But nevertheless, they had invited me. And I wasn't going to come back right away, because I had just moved from Illinois to St. Louis at that time, and had just gone through divorce and everything. It was a really trying time. But yet and still, I still had my oldest daughter, Najee, in mind, and what I could do to help heal her body. As you all know, as a mother, no matter what's going on around you, if you love your children and you're seeking knowledge, and I was still in my first stages of learning how to be a naturopath, and doing things the more natural and healthiest way. Well, anyway, to get straight more to the point, there was a young man that had attended that service, and the pastor at that time was known for giving anyone that had something good to share in the community, predominantly the Black community, that they felt that was being helpful. And at that time, I met a young man there that was teaching basically out of the instructions of how to eat to live. And that's how I wound up finding out about it, without even knowing that it was from the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. I did not learn it until afterwards, but I practiced it from that time on and off for 7 years. And it worked. It helped keep me into my BMI and helped keep me healthy. I can honestly say it helped me tremendously, and my daughter and my children. For 7 years, I was already cooking bean pies and doing different things. And of course, now they're naturopathic doctors, different ones that's there that I have had the pleasure to meeting. They teach you eat it in moderation, when you make these things. And no, they are not completely eliminating different dairies and different other foods, but we're talking about what the majority of us are accustomed to, concerning our bodies. And so if we're thinking about it from that standpoint, then you know that we do good just to even eat one meal a day, and to eat and drink fruits or whatever throughout the day, if we're talking about having the biggest effect on our people. Then that is to me, it is a more feasible way. Then gradually, as they learn how to master the how to eat to live by um, Elijah Muhammad, then you can get in group and set your body and mind up to be able to eat more fruits and vegetations. And if most of us have been honest, that's how most of us started off, where we just won off on certain things. So I must put that out there as a naturopath, that I do believe in the wing off process. Most of us, because we are walking around as drug addicts, as we know, I am a certified drug counselor as well here in the state of Missouri. And so I can promise you that when you look up all of the chemicals was in that class that I took from that brother, I can promise you this, we went over label reading and other things. And ever since then, from 2013 up until now, of every 6 months doing labor reading in all of the major food stores, we have witnessed the increase of the chemicals and preservatives that are in the food from 2013 up until now. It is doubled for the most part, 90% of the way. And now we have added what you call processed vegan food. And so fast forward up until the last couple of years, that's what I had to deal with, is what I call the demonization of the body through veganism, through processed vegan food. That also helped cost me a marriage as well. Yes, I see it as a key component that actually helped tremendously, because with it brought about a dogma against other people that have other ways of being healthy, even down to the Nation of Islam, how to eat to live, even though they did eliminate pork, and is what most of us know them from eliminating themselves from. I'm saying all that to say that it's still a beautiful thing that even in the midst of what we could see up until this time, even if you're looking at the teacher, if you're looking at those who are part of the Nation of Islam that are still practicing how to eat to live, you can still see the youthfulness of those that are even beyond above my age of not even 50, and some of them are 60 and 70 that looks more healthier than those who are 20 and 30 years younger than them. I got a chance to meet the naturopathic sister Benita, and I promise you, you could not tell by just looking on her youthfulness. She's a naturopathic doctor that's well known throughout the Nation of Islam, and looking at her face, I was like, "Oh my God, this woman! She does not look like it." It's just the fact that we know that she's there. It did not look like she could even dare be in her 60s, and the youthfulness in her was something beautiful. And for me, it's a blessing to see those of us who say that we're for health and wellness, especially those that have practiced being very dogmatic with people, due to and insensitive to people that have died due to their health and wellness. The fact that we have used that as a two-edged sword, I cannot condone. I never did. I understood it, but I never could condone it. And I thank God for delivering me from having to work with anyone that has practiced that, just because they have information. Having the knowledge and information is nothing when you do not apply it. And even when we do apply it, we have to constantly pray. I believe that we must constantly pray to God that He give us a humble spirit and knowing how to actually be one that draw the people, not just through social media and through other means of money and bribery and manipulation, or just through using our gifts as a tools to take guilt trips on people. But I believe that we are supposed to do that from our whole heart, not just from lip service, but literally from the whole heart where everyone can feel it. Even the most evil or the evilest person will come after you because they know that it is truly in the compassion. It has overwhelmingly outweighed the passion of just teaching. And so I've had to myself as a naturopath always daily remind myself that no matter how frustrating that it can get sometime, knowing that there are those of us that's out here now that have the internet, that have access to books. And I did bring some books to share with you all. For those of y'all that like to still read or download it on the reading app, because there are those of y'all that can download on your Kindles and other gadgets that you have and how to read, you can go ahead and start self-teaching yourself. But when things happen and if this computer and net shut down, I want you all to be equipped of having things that's in the books within your hands that I have had the privilege of being able to get access to that actually will help you live a long and healthy life. Now, each person, as I share some of these books that I have on this Wellness Wednesday, you have to be one that would be smart enough, wise enough, or just simple-minded enough to know what works for you and your body type and your family. Okay? That's what I'm going to say on this Wellness Wednesday, because this is a learning curve for anyone that thinks that just because we teach abroad and just because we teach many people, or we have to pay this internet and all of these other websites in order to get a lot of views, that think that it's just that simple by just giving someone the information, then they just do it. Then that's an unlearned person. But I could tell you this much: as time go by, they'll learn different. And this truly is a humbling way when you are trying to help our people to learn how to eat to live and not just to die. I can promise you that. There is no room for boasting. None. There's no room for us always picnicking into other people's affairs. There'll be no room for us to be given accolades and put in high spiritual people that have really gone through the trenches of actually doing the work for us that has just not come on the scene to dare compare ourselves to those who have been our elders and ancestors that has been doing this for years and years to come, that has outlived us. Is outright foolishness. It's ignorancy in its highest form. And I say that just out of just being true. And not meaning to be harsh about it. It's just true. I cannot, even after the 20 some years, almost 30 years of practicing this, do not consider myself being in the position of a Honorable Louis Farrakhan just by the dietary laws alone. You want to know why? It's simple. He's lived to 92 years old, 92, gracefully. And I can honestly say now I finally got a chance to see him in person. To compare it to meeting Layla Africa in person, and that's not to throw shade. To compare it to meeting Dick Gregory in person, it's not to throw shade. I had a very warm personal welcome from them, while others throw out celebrities and people that just do interviews. I'm talking about I've actually gotten a chance to be, and so many others around here that I was able to actually sit with, talk to. And I can tell you this by far, even though I had a very, very warm welcome from Dr. Layla Africa, and when he came here into town, very, very warm, beautiful greeting by the late Dick Gregory before he passed. Something about just even being in the distance of just in the seat distance of just a ways away from Louis Farrakhan with hundreds and hundreds of people centered around him. I can feel the spirit and the vibration of the meekness of his spirit as he's gracing the pulpit at 90 something years. And we say, oh, but I said 92 years of at the stage. How dare I think that I even can compare myself? And for any others to try to do that. And that's not to say that we're putting one on a more higher pedestal. No, that just means that the work shows for itself. The stage shows for itself, no matter how much we debate with one another about what we believe in and don't believe in. At the end of the day, for those of us who say that we know that we are placed here for a purpose and for a good purpose, and we believe that God knew us before we entered into our mother's womb, that means that we are supposed to be most definitely looking to those who have done it and they've done it well. And so we know when there are some supernatural things going on. You know when God is in people's lives, even in the midst of their failures, when you see them being able to live with more years on this earth and having even a more greater impact, even in the midst of much controversy, even in the midst of the fall of a particular way of life. And that happened to them in the 70s and in the 80s, and still was able to reboot themselves and come back. Now, if I can appreciate that and see the greatness within that, being raised as a Christian girl with parents that were pastors and aunties and uncles that were pastors and evangelists from the whole nother side of the road, which, by the way, they never disrespected, never had. Thankfully, I didn't have parents that talked against other religions that I know of, like some of us that were raised in the Christian church. A lot of us were taught against if you didn't call God the same name, or if you had a different practice, a way of lifestyle that you practice. I'm thankful that my mother and father did not do that with me. However, they were those who were the kind that wanted to understand everyone around us. They dealt with people according to people. And I'm thankful that they passed that down to me. Yes, they did. My grandparents passed that over to me, and my mom and dad did. And so this is the reason why I can't pair with anybody. I can try, and I can allow someone to beg me into or trick me into trying to work with them, but I can't stay for long if the spirit is not right. And I know some of you all that's tuning in and some that tune in later, you all have experienced probably the same thing or know of someone that has. Thanks so much. That's the greetings to the sisters that's coming in. And so just thinking about them and the laws, I don't want to know what happened to the sister. It's not clearly, if it's not being reported and it's not out there, it's for a cause, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with, if any of us that have common sense, when someone does not give the private information of someone's health, it's because they don't want to put their family business on blast, because it's very highly insensitive. And some of you all that's tuning in now and later know that I have to forbear that for the last few years of seeing people thrown underneath the bus about their passing. And you all didn't know just how powerful your prayers were, that really, really helped me during that time. But it would hurt me to my whole heart of understanding that people have the right to mourn and grieve. Even beloved Ishmael Muhammad, the son of Tanetta Muhammad, which is Elijah Muhammad's son. For those of you all that do not know, he is still in the land of living. Even he had to address, for those who are on social media that was trying to criticize people for giving condolences, for just giving condolences. And I could see through some of the feed that there were those that were really, practicing a form of dogmaticness of not thinking that you shouldn't give condolences. And so he had to set the record straight that no, think about it. That's somebody that's very heartless, very heartless. I don't care if you saved 5,000 people in one day. It's heartless if you don't give people the time to bereave their loved ones. And you all know, I know what that feels like. I went through it with my mother. I went through it with my cousins. I went through it with my daughter. Not being able to properly grieve without having to be forced to have to think about how much money I was going to have to help make. Not being forced to not to have to even think about, yeah, I'm going there, you all, because this is part of mental health and wellness as well. Sometimes when I think about it, I most definitely, oh my God, I said, I know it's a God somewhere that I made it through that time without snap, crackling, and popping. But I did have to call out the demonic forces that was trying to make me operate as usual during the time of bereavement, while all along monopolizing off of me grieving. And I was not fully aware of just how much until a month later. And then months after that, you all know what happened. A separation had to take place. It had to take place. And so, you all, I wanted to just speak for the nation, for my brothers and sisters in the nation, is unto myself. It does not mean anything that people are saying that they have platforms to be able to do these different things. Anybody can speak today. And I can assure you that the reason why some people have the opportunities that they do to think that they have the honor and the right to speak upon people is because of they have not been found out. That's because people like myself and others have not told them of the monstrosity that they have caused and the many lies that they have been telling. So it just shows you just how bold Satan is. Just how bold. But enough is enough. The buck stops here. When mothers are leaving, we know that the most dearest that we have in our lives for most of us is your mother. The fathers, I've just stated it beforehand. This is not to say there's no less, but it's like we were birthed into understanding that a father was a warrior and that a father is going to go forth first, and he'll be the one when the enemy is attacking to supposedly protect the family, the wife and the children. And so it's automatically embedded in us to know that a father may have to leave here before the mother. But my God, when it happens before the father, the warrior, the one that's supposed to be the head and not the tail, is far more devastating because the mother represents the nurturer. How many of you all have to, you can use this as the example on this Wellness Wednesday until you all start asking questions. I'm just going to talk it up to give some of y'all time enough to come on. Thank you all so much for those of you all that have tuned in, for liking and sharing. Please continue to do that when you can. But how many of you all know the difference between someone when you are in mourning or when you're having a bad day and someone giving you a little bit of money versus just a hug because it's just so heavy? That's not to say that you don't appreciate being given a little money, but what if you already have money and you are in an emotional state where it's just challenging? You just need to feel that someone understands. See, I know what it is to go through that. I know what it is to have to be around someone that's so cold-hearted, that's so mind is so wrapped up in just wanting to be heard and wanting to make money and wanting to make a name for themselves to the point to where they forget that you can be so act so godly to where you become no earthly good. Yeah, I said it. Yes, I said it. So I say it this time on this Wellness Wednesday with all from my whole heart. That is my saying, from my whole heart. You all, let's practice being more sensitive, and not just because it's the Honorable Louis Farrakhan's daughter-in-law, but to all. I've stated this before. Because you know the character and the heart of a person truly in the time of adversity, in how they act and how they treat people. You can hear it in the tone. Come on now, y'all. We're not slow. Don't let nobody out just because we got these platforms to make you think that we are so much more superior without even putting in all of the work that is necessary to even win that type of honor. No, we can't. We have to be fair about it. We need to be fair about it. And so this is the reason why on Monday, why you all didn't hear me make it an issue. I wanted to give a few days. I wanted to hear from Mother Tanetta's son, Brother Ishmael Muhammad, to hear what the statement would be concerning the condolences of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan's daughter. And once again, I'll say it again. I chose not to label that because I know this is not for ratings. I had to go through the same with my mother. I had to make sure that my mother was not going to be put on blast and the wrong thing be said and cause the whole family to go into an uproar because of the pillow of love that she represented in our family. And I can't tell you how blown away my mind was. But all I can say is that I thank God Almighty that I do not have to partake in that type of evil. Yeah, I said it. That type of evil and inconsideration and that type of cold-hearted masked as a wolf in sheep clothing. I said it. I'm so glad and so thankful for deliverance. Yeah, none of us are without being able to be tricked or to be bamboozled. None of us are. All you have to do is get a little tired. All you have to do is get caught up in doing many jobs and many works, and there comes Satan himself, making it look like he's something that he's really not. But you don't know until you get him behind closed doors. And then that narcissistic spirit comes out and then try to flip it on you when you recognize it and call them demons out for what it is. Just like what took place here in Illinois, where the officer took the police officer with the self-righteous self, with the sick-minded self. Yeah, I said it. With his demon-fied self. Took and blew away that black woman, mother, for pleading the blood of Jesus against him. While she got water in her hand and he got a whole weapon. And just take her out of there. Yeah, this happened just 2 hours away from us in Springfield, Illinois. And so I'm thankful to have to be delivered from the spirit of the so-called narcissistic, crazy-minded police officer spirit too, because that's a spirit that think that they have the right to pull out weaponry when you're supposed to be protecting. Instead, you use it to kill the innocent that has called you for help, not to be criticized, not to be ostracized, not to be killed. So y'all, on this Wellness Wednesday, me, Dr. Shelf, I say, y'all, let's just be mindful and stay very prayed up. For real, for real. For those of y'all that believe in the power of prayer, pray for our brothers and sisters, especially our fallen ones, because there is greatness in a lot of them. There is. However, it's been distorted because of this internet. It has entered into the spirits of our people and is cast the net of the skies over those who really truly are broken and need some real serious help. And so they're at the place where now they can regurgitate, they can say, oh yeah, I want to be humble, I want to be this and I want to be that. But in their hearts, it's desperately wicked. Y'all, you don't want to be a healthy, wicked person. I don't come before you all to share with you how to eat to live and how we should be a help one to another for us to get healthy enough just to do more wicked things. Or just for us to hide behind the name of Jesus or the name of Yahshua or the name of Allah, and just so you can use that to manipulate the next crowd of people that you can get a listening ear from. However, for those of us who know the Bible, it says that these times will come, that there will be many false prophets. And it's just important that you all remember that. That's all. Just remember that we'd be living in a time where there'll be a form of godliness. Remember, it's a form. But they'll be denying the power they're in. They'll be saying they power. But I guarantee you, you can't lay hands on not one person and heal them. I've experienced that in my life. I have experienced being able to even touch my daughter at times when she had seizures, and it stopped immediately. I have experienced, and at that time, I didn't know that it was still certain foods that she was consuming that was causing the triggering those type of episodes. But as time went by, I started to learn how to trust in God more. That's the reason why I say I cannot deny the power of God within. I cannot deny His Holy Spirit. I cannot deny my roots. And even for those who are in the Nation of Islam that I work closely with, I still same thing. They even a lot of them say the same. So even though there's different practices in some ways, there's still those who have the Spirit of God truly within them. They still recognize when you are truly a good spirited person. They really truly recognize this. And they recognize when we are just people that want to have power over one another. And when we just want to sound like we know more than the next person. And when we want to act like it is just because, again, money, that we are better than someone else. When we are not. Some of us may get it, some get it a little sooner than later. But my God, our prayer should always be one to another that we get it before we leave this earth. I can assure you on this day, since I started off speaking of our dear beloved sister Farrakhan's daughter-in-law, that her spirit, I can tell, just like my mother passing at 62, that her spirit is most definitely with the Most High, because that's all she was known for. And I'll go as far as to say this, even though it has been spoken, and some would say been prophesied over my life, that I would live a long time. I would rather, and I'll say it on this live today, this is going to be a bold statement, I would rather, if it meant that I had to choose between living a super long life, seeing the different generations, and my heart going waxing cold, and I'm getting into a self-righteous stage of thinking that I'm more superior than everybody that's around me, or thinking that I have all the answers and nobody else have none. I would rather pass early in good spirit, practicing and being known for being a righteous person and doing right by people, versus having long life and reaping all sorts of deceitful hell and chaos in people's life, causing all different type of emotional mental disturbance in people's lives. I'll choose less life with a good heart, good spirit, doing what he called me to do over long life, just to get old and feeble and to mess things up still. Did that make sense? And I mean that. So that way, between now and the next 20, 30, 40 years, you out here with Dr. Shep, she got out here at 75. I thought she would have lived till she was 95. If you're still living, you can remember this. Whether they've taken these computers away or deleted it, like I've had stuff deleted before that I've poured out my whole heart to. But yet, you see, when it's done to others, then they can't take the heat. And that's the reason why the saying was created. If you can't take the heat, stay out the kitchen. And since I cook and I'm a chef, it's obvious that I can take the heat because I stay in the kitchen. Even to this day, I'm around heat of all sorts. And so that's not just a saying to me. It is something that we must practice, you all. It's just something that we must practice. Now, I had to put that out there because I want you all to understand, not to get caught up in prayerfully having an impact on those who do tune in, to know that, no, y'all don't allow yourself to get caught up into who's dying more so than who's living. They have gone on now and they do not have to deal with this messed up world. Something that me and my sister talk about, my blood sister, we talk about one time, like the one comfort that I have and we all agree upon is that my mother, and now I can only speak for mine because I knew them well. My mother and my daughter transitioning within this past 2 years, we all agree that they were too good to be left down here, dealing with the stresses and the cares and all the nonsense that was surrounding them from time to time. They do better not to be in the midst of this, wondering who's going to take care of them, wondering who's going to do this, wondering how mama's doing, wondering how's daddy doing, wondering how my sister doing, wondering how my brother's doing. Think on that, you all. After all, there is a scripture that states that we're supposed to rejoice, we're supposed to cry when the child come into this world, and we're supposed to rejoice when they leave. But instead, we do the opposite. And that's the reason why we label it a stage of mourning. And if you can look back into history, and biblically so as well, they still allowed us to have at least 30 days or more to mourn. And I say that those times change when people started to become more insensitive, causing people's lives during a time of losing loved ones, reaping havoc in their lives to the point to where they were cheated and robbed out of having those humanistic feelings. It shouldn't matter how strong you are. Even the strongest man and woman in this world, I have learned, can be broken. So no matter how strong you say you are, with those that claim the spirit of Samson, Samson was broken, and to the point where he realized that he had been tricked. And clearly today, we would call that having too much ego, where you think that there is not a Delilah that can come along that can break you. All of us, you women, we can use it for ourselves. I use my own self as an example. I went through things, and I'm using this as a testimony to help others to overcome and to think about it, just in case you're going through it. Or someone that you may know. You may have a daughter, you might have a niece, you may have an uncle, an aunt, someone that's going through it, friend. Don't ever think yourself so strong to the point to where you take your eyes off of the enemy. and only have tunnel vision for just doing work, only have tunnel vision for just healing people. No, because Satan does not, it's a true statement, he does not take a break. His work ethics is on fleek. Can I say it like that? It's clear every time you look up, it's something evil taking place. Every time you're looking up, somebody's stealing something. Every time you look up, somebody's getting killed, destroyed. And so for those of us that like to debate the Bible with saying that Satan, he say he lurks about seeking who he may devour. I think the issue is, if I may, I think the issue is that we are actually looking for some type of spook monster that does not look human, that's lurking around, or you're waiting to go or to be in a certain part of the town or the city where you know the quote unquote thugs hang out at. Y'all, I'm here to share with you all on this Wellness Wednesday. No, more than likely, he'll come dressed up, looking like what you like. He'll come sounding like what's appealing to your ears. More than likely, he'll come as a counterfeit. More than likely, he or she will come dressed up in just exactly what you like. Think about it, you all. Aren't they not doing that with your favorite foods? Are they not doing that with your sweet drinks? That's why it's so difficult. That's the reason why it's become so difficult for people to heal and to learn to eat to live and not just to die. It's because we can't believe that I sliced me a big bowl of seeded watermelon, left it in the other office because I had too much in my hand. Can't believe you're looking at a juicy watermelon, juice just rolling down with the beautiful seeds. You can't believe that somebody would be evil enough to inject that with something poisonous. You can't believe, and just walk away. They're not even waiting to find out if you went to the doctor to see if whether or not they can detect the poison. But y'all, I can promise you all that's exactly the way it happens. So I say all this to say on this Wellness Wednesday, y'all, let's pray and let's ask God for more grace, more mercy, more understanding, more true compassion, not just from lip service, but from our actions. And not after, and even after you do it, we can't be like the scribes and the Pharisees and start comparing yourself to everybody else. Just do it and be content, to the point to where you forget. I'm not gonna lie, to this day, at 49 years young, it's so many people that come to me when I'm in my hometown and other places and say, I remember when you did this. I remember when you said that. I remember. And it'll be good things. And I promise you, I can't remember most of the time because I never did it. I never, whew, gosh. I wasn't doing it for them to remember 10 or 20, 30 years later. I wasn't doing it for them to have to feel like they have to thank me every time they see me. That's not where my validation comes from. And I know that's challenging you all because we live in a society where when you see others being praised and you see others, I know that can be challenging. Getting credit for what you have done, that is only human, that you want to be respected and appreciated for the good that you've done. But come on, you all, let's be honest, it's done gotten out of hand. When you get too much of it, and this social media does not help us in this way. That's the reason why I'm okay with not having thousands of followers right now. I'm okay with that. Yeah, you can get more, but word of mouth spreads a whole lot faster than social media, if you ask me. I still believe in that. Yep. Word of mouth spreads, because you could be told 10 people and they never find the time to tune in to a station or to an internet site. But it don't mean that they don't know. There's plenty of people that's told me about certain things, and I don't tune in to their channel, but I know the name when I hear it. I know the work when I hear it. And I know what I need when I need it the most and how to try to find it. And so I like to encourage us on this Wellness Wednesday, as we're trying to learn how to eat to live and better take care of ourselves, to keep in mind the Spirit of God, how important it is that your spirit be right. Not just according to the Bible, but because this is something that you know that is good for you. Because there are so many around the world that don't even have access to a Bible. So many around the world that's never been raised. They have not even been raised to even know what this is. Yes, it is, y'all. Don't think that just because you haven't heard about it, that it's not so. Unfortunately, a lot of us cannot see beyond the four walls that we live in. Unfortunately, this is the reason why some travel about in hopes that they will be able to learn every different nationality of people, and not fully understanding that the full purpose is just for you to learn how to respect humans, the creation of God. And I mean respect it. Even when they're not respecting you. I've encountered that. I've done a lot of work within this past couple of years alone, and it's not been the right type of respect that had been given. So I know what I'm talking about. I was used and I was rejected. And then I was called back again, just to be told that I have to compromise my integrity, and then make it seem like I was given a choice, but not really. You see how confusing that sounds? That's what Satan does. He's the author of confusion. Don't even know what they want, but yet want you to be able to make a decision out of much instability. And just because of these social media platforms make it look like we have it all together, you figured you can get by with it. But I've lived here now long enough on this earth to know that time tells all. My elders, I learned that from my elders, that time tells all. And if nothing else, if there is nothing else that I learned the most from them, I learned patience. Something that this generation does not have much of. I've learned that patience is a virtue. I have much patience. You're not supposed to be eager to see evil being, not praying for the demise of his enemy. No, I've been blessed enough to be able to see that in due time, whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. It won't just be good either. It's going to be all of the bad. And the strange thing about it is that God always allowed me to find out about it. And the craziest part about it is that even after you see that things have taken place for those who thought that they could outsmart you, outwit you, out anything you, while you're merely trying to just do a good work for God, that about time the chastisement come, and I mean come, now you feeling sorry for them and asking God, Lord, have mercy. I didn't know it was going to be this bad.